Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary or SITREP for the Ukraine war for the day of 201, 12th of September. So 12th of September. So there is a new videos that you can watch. It's actually the DPA open mic. So you can actually go to DPA IRL, so youtube.com/DPA IRL, and you actually go to the Defense Politics Asia IRL YouTube channel. And we have two new videos. These are the episode 1 and episode 2 of the open mic session. The first one is actually in May, so it's quite some time ago, which I plan to edit, which I never end up editing it, so I just gave up and just upload unedited. And there is this episode 2 that happened earlier today, where I accidentally dropped into the Discord DPA Discord chat, and then we chit chat and for 1.5 hours. So it's quite nice, quite fun. You probably can learn something in both of this open mic, and the next one will probably be soon with the YouTube people, you guys. So anyway, and then also something major happened at Azerbaijan and Armenia. They are now at the brink of war. If you want to know more about it, go to the main channel, Defense Politics Asia, and click on the brink of war video, the Azerbaijan one. So let's start the summary. So missile strike. There is a massive munition depot at Voznesensk that got struck, reported by the Ministry of Defense of Russia on the 11th of September. So reportedly this depot stored 45,000 tons of munition. So sounds quite incredulous. Not sure how big is the explosion. Given 45,000 tons, sounds like a very big amount. And then after the night shelling, where the Ukraine went into blackout, there is continued shelling again the next day at in Kharkiv. So it was reported by Intel Slava that the Russia strikes Kharkiv in critical infrastructure again. So as a result, power and water supply was cut off again, and internet outage was then reported after the missile strikes. So power outage happens again, after the shelling. So this is the second shelling in the day. It was shelled in the day after the night shelling. And then internet and mobile services was also reportedly disrupted in Poltava due to the new rounds of shelling, and so power outage at Sumy. I think this one was reported already. So this is the shelling part. So the Ukrainian forces captured Lipsy. This one was, I think, it's outdated information. And then as you can see, the map is already updated. There is no more Russian positions west of Oskil River. The withdrawal is complete, and according to various information sources, that the withdrawal is complete as well. So now this is the new line. It will take some time to get used to, because I kind of get a bit confused now without all this without the previous front line. So let's start off the report of the battle zones from the Southern Front as usual. And the Southern Front, there was report of fighting at Novohryhorivka, according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry. And I put a question mark because the Russian position is 2 towns away, which means that there is a possibility where Ternovi Podi is under Russian control. So however, I'm not so sure. So that's why it's currently a question mark. But I believe that if the fighting is reported here, then Ternovi Podi should be under Russian control. So we'll leave it as is for now. Then we'll find more corroborative information before I move the front line. And over at the Davydiv Brid Front, Russia strikes a breach here at the Bereznehuvate over here. They strike the breach, and in order to disrupt the transfer of reinforcement from this forward operating base here to the front line. So Bereznehuvate has been the gathering point for Ukrainian forces that's fighting at the Davydiv Brid Front. So the forces will all come here first before they were sent to the front. So Russia decided to strike the breach, and this is also something that is quite unusual because Russia could have struck the breach at least a month ago, but they have never done it. So there is definitely some kind of change, just like when Russia decided to strike all the power stations 2 nights ago, which is something that is out of character. And then there is fighting reported at Bezimenne here, the unknown town, which is totally flattened and non-existent anymore. There is fighting reported here according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry. So otherwise, there's nothing much. So at the Kharkiv front, everything is still quiet. The confusing place are still confusing. So that's all from the southern front. If you like to know, there is a Ukrainian attempt to continue to shell the bridges and the crossing over the Dnipro River. But since it was not successful in destroying the bridges, so there's no point reporting it. Over at the Zaporizhzhia Line, the concentration of forces at Orikhiv continue, and while this is happening, Mi-8, sorry, this is not Mi-9. Mi-8 was shot down over Orikhiv according to the latest report from the Russian Ministry of Defense. And there is also heavy fighting reported around Vasylivka region. So according to some sources, some pro-Russian sources, they say that the guys from the field reports intense fighting in the area of the settlement of Vasylivka, which is here. So which means the Ukrainians are launching an offensive towards Vasylivka, and reportedly many of the rockets are in the sky flying towards Ukrainian positions. Reportedly, the aim of this offensive is to reach Novohryhorivka, but let's see whether this offensive will be more reported, maybe footages, videos, and more reports coming out from this. This is pretty preliminary. Moving on to the Donetsk Front. At the Donetsk Front, the concentration of forces at Vuhledar also continues. The Ukrainian forces continue to gather at Vuhledar, and there is somehow reports of fighting near Vuhledar, according to Denis Pushilin, the leader of the Donetsk People's Republic, in his probably a press conference or something. So he reported at Vuhledar, enemy attacks are repulsed. So something weird is happening, because this is the only source that mentioned a Ukrainian attack in this region. So moving on to the Donetsk city, northwest of Donetsk city, there is fighting reported at Vodyane, according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry, and according to the Donetsk People's Republic leader, Denis, there is fighting at the Donetsk Airport, and that's it from here. Otherwise, the situation at Pisky and Pervomayske is more towards positional combat, positional warfare, which means trench warfare. It's just bombarding and shooting each other in their defensive position and trying to maneuver to a better position. It's not really an offensive. It's not a ground offensive. There is fighting reported at Krasnohorivka, also according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry. That's all. And at Krasnohorivka, similarly, there is a concentration of Ukrainian forces reported at this location. So we might see a 3-pronged or even 4-pronged offensive by the Ukrainian side, all time at the same time, where they all launch offensive all at the same time to overwhelm the Russian forces, and then so that they can have another big break, just like what happened in the Bakhmut Front. That might be the case. And that's all from the Donetsk Front. At the Bakhmut Front, this is the main trajectory where the Russians are actually launching their offensive. Russia attacked Mykolaivka Druha, Odradivka, Zaitseve. They continue fighting. You know, this position have been fighting for like at least a month already, and there is fighting reported at Bakhmut. So reportedly, the Wagner private military contractors have captured the industrial zone over here. They have captured the entire area here, reportedly, because we can't be confirmed. This information cannot be fully confirmed, but you know, I've indicated as is, and let's see what is going to come next. Otherwise, Bakhmut is still a very big city. It's still going to take some time before there is a capture. Like Popasna took a very long time, like I think 2 months of fighting. So Bakhmut is going to be another Popasna. Fighting at Bakhmutske has flared up again. In the previous summary, I talked about Bakhmutske perhaps might have been captured because we haven't heard anything about Bakhmutske, and here we are. They heard me, and then they reported fighting reported over here at Bakhmutske, according to the Ukraine Defense Ministry. There is this weird report from Ryba, pro-Russian source Ryba, where there is fighting reported on the eastern outskirt of Soledar. So eastern outskirt is here. So perhaps it's a Ukrainian offensive. Maybe they're trying to flank the Russian positions within Soledar. So maybe that's why the fighting is at the rear. Then that's all from the Bakhmut front. Over at the Siversk front, the Ukrainian forces restarted their Siversk offensive towards Lysychansk. Now for the fighting reportedly is at Spirne and at Bilohorivka. So the fighting reported in these two positions seems to be quite heavy, as they describe the Bilohorivka battle as difficult situation, and then they describe Spirne as heavy fighting. So these are reported by pro-Russian sources, by Ryba. So I suspect there might be some kind of offensive also in the other regions, but it was not particularly noteworthy that they actually reports on it. The main one is still Bilohorivka and Spirne. So I was also confused. Maybe the Bilohorivka might be the one below, right next to Nahierne, but I think it does make more sense that the fighting is actually here. So because if you attack the Bilohorivka here, you're not actually fighting towards any direction. It would be a bit silly to fight towards Solote or Popasna. So I don't think they will fight for Popasna. I think they will fight for Lysychansk, which is why I think the correct Bilohorivka is actually this one. And moving on to Slovyansk Front, where the Lyman offensive, the Great Lyman offensive, continued for the third day, and the Ukrainian forces continue to push towards Lyman across the entire front. So, but I only have one icon because they only say vicinity of Lyman. So, but without a doubt, there is fighting at Dibrova and Yampil, especially the one at Yampil, because there is Ukrainian forces cross the river through pontoon crossing from Zakine, and heavy fighting is reported at Svyatohirsk. So there is claims that the Ukrainians have captured Svyatohirsk, and however, it was disputed by the Svyatohirsk mayor, that is the Russian controlled city mayor, and they dispute that. They say that the city is still under Russian control. And the latest information we do have is actually from the DPR leader, Denis Pushilin. So he clarified that no one is actually in full control of Svyatohirsk. So which means that the city is currently contested, and the fighting is still ongoing. So apparently the fighting seems to be rather heavy, and the Russians are actually in the defensive. They are fighting trench warfare. So the part of Svyatohirsk has been captured by the Ukrainian forces. Otherwise, there's not much other information. So let's see how this goes. I've indicated the choke point as Studenok, where the Russians do have a confirmed position as Studenok. There is a airstrike reported at Zizium, and there's airstrike reported at Kupiansk, and then reportedly killing quite a number of soldiers. Then there is also, I have also put a Russian position at the East Kupiansk, because this is another choke point. As there are still other choke points, like here, some of various crossings at Senkove. But once I have confirmation of, definitely there will be troops there, but confirmation that that is actually a choke point or important doorway into Luhansk, I will actually indicate into the map later. Otherwise, yeah, we have reported about this already. So that's it. The Belarusian exercise is still ongoing. I think for another 1 or 2 days. Looks like nothing much is going to happen from there, I think. And that's all for the summary of the day of 201. So things have seemingly quieted down a lot, but I think this is just the quiet before the storm, the silence before the storm, because there is multiple locations that the Ukrainians are poised to launch a new offensive, and the aim is actually to to get another big victory like what they did in the Balaklia offensive. So that's all from me. Do check out the open mic sessions. You may find them interesting, and maybe you'll be interested to participate in the next one, which can happen anytime. So no, there's no warning. Suddenly it will just happen, and so always stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next update.